He wants men to not be ignorant of the devices of the enemy. He wants them to know what the cost is. How the enemy will try to stop them from coming to this feast. So that servant came and showed his Lord these things. Then the master of the house, being angry, said to his servant, Go out quickly into the streets and lanes of the city. Bring in hither the poor and the maimed and the halt and the blind. The servant said, Lord, it is done as thou hast commanded. And yet there is room. Go out and bring in the desperate people. You know, a man has got to be brought to a place of desperation to answer this invitation. It's a spiritual work that has to be done deep in his heart, to where he's sick of living a less than life. A life less than a life that's pleasing to God. And then he said, Go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. For I say unto you that none of those men which were bidden shall taste of my supper. And there went great multitudes with him. And he turned and said unto them, If any man come to me, and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. And whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it? Lest haply after he hath laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him, saying, This man began to build and was not able to finish. Jesus is describing the cost here, letting us know what it takes to truly be his disciple, to truly be able to believe the gospel with all of our hearts. We have to be brought to the place by God where we hate even our own life in this world. We have to hate, despise all the carnal behavior that the Lord has revealed to us. Hate it to the extent that we respond in faith to that call in the book of Romans to reckon that old life to be put to death, crucified with Christ. Hating our life in this world to the point that we're obedient to that call, to strike the blow of faith to that old carnal way of living. Hold your finger there and turn to the book of Ephesians. In another way, this cost is described here. Ephesians chapter 4, beginning at verse 17. This I say therefore and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk, not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind, having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them because of the blindness of their heart. Who being past feeling have given themselves over unto lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness with greediness. But ye have not so learned Christ, if so be that ye have heard Him, and have been taught by Him as the truth is in Jesus. That ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that you put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness. Don't walk anymore as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind. Put off that old man with all his corrupt, carnal ways. Receive that new way of thinking, where your thoughts are aligned with the thoughts of God, because God has purified your heart from evil ways of thinking. Put on that new man, created after God in righteousness and true holiness. Anything less than this, and we can't come to Jesus. For what king going to make war against another king sitteth not down first and consulteth whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000? Or else while the other is yet a great way off, he sendeth an ambassage and desireth conditions of peace. So likewise, whosoever he be of you that forsaketh not all that he hath, he cannot be my disciple. The Lord is returning, brothers and sisters. The wrath of God shall come. There's only one way to escape it. That's total surrender. We cannot be His disciple with anything less than that. The Lord meant what He said here. So that's the cost. Apostle Paul said that he had suffered the loss of all things so that he could win Christ. When a man truly counts the cost, when he has his eyes open to see that he's got to lose all of that old life. Jesus said that a man has to lose his life